Hey, what's going on, guys? Bring you guys a video on the Buffalo Bills. We're gonna hit on the defense here. Um, I looked at who they brought in free agency. I looked at who they brought in the draft in April, and I looked at their depth. And I wrote down the 11 names who could be the starters come opening day. Now, I'm gonna start on the defensive line. If you look at the left defensive end position, you've got Mark Anderson. Mark Anderson is a free agent that they brought in this year from the division rival Patriots. Now, I know he only had 29 tackles last season. He had 2 forced fumbles, but he had 10 sacks. Over his career, his 6-year career, he's had 35.5 sacks, so he has produced. He is a guy who will produce, and you're going to stick him in on a very talented defensive line. Backing Mark Anderson up, I have 3 underlined names being Mark Anderson, and then Terrence McGee and Stephon Gilmore. And I have those positions underlined because their backups could start as well. So, with that said, Mark Anderson's backup could quite possibly be Shawne Merriman. Shawne Merriman was produced very well in San Diego. They brought him in, I don't know if it was last season or 2 seasons ago, in free agency. But Shawne Merriman could be, they could switch time with Mark Anderson, Shawne Merriman. Both of the guys are very talented. So either way, I would like that trade-off as a Buffalo Bills fan. Then you got the number 2 overall pick in last year's draft in Marcell Dareus, the defensive tackle. Marcell Dareus had a very good rookie season at the position with 43 tackles and 5.5 sacks. I'd say that's pretty solid for a rookie. And then he's playing alongside Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams is a guy who goes under the radar. For one, he didn't really play last year because he was hurt. But over his career, he's racked up over 300 tackles. He's had 13.5 sacks, a couple forced fumbles. So, I mean, if you look at Kyle Williams, the main word I'm going to use throughout this video is produce or production, because all these guys will bring that to your team. And then the big guy, the right defensive end, you got Mario Williams, who they brought in from Houston, signed him, gave him nearly $100 million. Mario Williams, powerhouse, former number 1 overall pick. He's a 6-year vet, and he played outside linebacker in Houston. Now he's gonna put his hands in the dirt. He's gonna be that defensive end that all he's gonna do is rush that quarterback. That's what he loves to do. So that's perfect right there. That front line right there that I just showed you guys could be one of the top 5 defensive lines in the league come 2012 season. Then I'm gonna hit on the linebacking core. Kirk Morrison is a guy who has brought production over his entire career. I believe he didn't really do much last season, so he could be the starter for the Bills at the left outside linebacker position. If not Morrison, I believe it could be what's his name? Let me see. I believe it could be Arthur Moats. So we'd have to see about that. Middle linebacker position, Kelvin Sheppard, selected in the 3rd round of the 2011 draft. So they're going to plug him in at the middle linebacker position. He had 70 tackles last season, so he produced for him as a rookie. Then you have the old veteran Nick Barnett, who's a former Packer. He's a 9-year veteran. His numbers are just through the roof as throughout his entire career, so he'll bring you production. Hit on the left cornerback spot first. You got Terrence McGee. Terrence McGee is a 9-year veteran as well with 17 career interceptions. Behind Terrence McGee is Aaron Williams, who was a 2nd-round pick in the 2011 draft. So right there's depth. So if you're going to set up with 3 cornerbacks, you're going to have that in Aaron Williams, and I'll get to Stephon Gilmore in a second with his depth aspect behind him. Let me see here. I'll hit on the safeties. You got George Wilson at strong safety. He's a 6-year veteran. He had 106 tackles last year, 2 forced fumbles, 4 interceptions. That's getting the job done. Jarius Byrd is a young, talented star who's going to be one of the better safeties, I believe, better free safeties in this league in the next couple of seasons. He nearly had 100 tackles last year. He had 98, 3 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions. And in his 3-year career, he's already had 13 interceptions. So, I mean, beautiful thing selecting. They did a good job selecting Jarius Byrd in the second round of the 2009 draft. And then after after Jarius Byrd, you got Stephon Gilmore, their first overall pick this year, number 10 overall. I mentioned the depth aspect. He could have Leotis McKelvin behind him. He probably will have Leotis McKelvin behind him on the depth chart. But you got all these big former first round picks or first round picks, second round picks on their defense. They're drafted there for a reason. These guys are going to produce for you. I told you that's going to be the word I'm going to use throughout this video. The Bills defense, all these guys put the numbers up. So when you got all these guys on the same defense putting all these numbers up, besides Stephon Gilmore, because we have to wait and see what he's going to do, it's got to be a top 10 defense in my opinion. I like what they did at the D line, addressing both defensive end positions. I like how they brought in an additional cornerback. Now they got 4 solid cornerbacks. Their safeties are solid, and then their linebacking core, they got a veteran in Nick Barnett who can teach some of the younger guys things. And some of the younger guys like Kelvin Shepherd will be plugged in right away at that middle linebacker position. So overall, I like what the Bills are doing on defense. I think they will be a top 10 defense come the 2012 season.